Travis Scott has just had his concert canceled in Egypt. Who is Travis Scott? I don't really remember. I only remember him as being this kind of eccentric popular musician who performs bizarre occult rituals and uses satanic and occult imagery in his public performances. Overt imagery. This is not a satanic panic looking for devils under every rock. This is very overt. The stage for one of his concerts was a depiction of Hieronymus Bosch's, hellish images, and he regularly uses this kind of satanic language and imagery. So anyway, he was supposed to perform a concert at the Giza Pyramid, and Egypt just said no. Egyptian authorities said, no, thank you. We don't want your weird occult satanic stuff. Since the General Syndicate is part of the fabric of this beloved country, it is keen on its stability and security and refuses to tamper with societal values and Egyptian and Arab customs and traditions. Based on research and documented information about strange rituals at Travis's concerts that are inconsistent with our authentic societal values and traditions, the board of directors has decided to cancel the license issued to hold this type of concert that contradicts the cultural identity of the Egyptian people. Very based, very good, wonderful stuff, and we should seek to emulate that sort of thing in the West. Similar to Trump saying a nice thing about Xi Jinping. Does it mean now that we want to model our country after Egypt and the Muslim leaders of Egypt? No, it doesn't. But they're right about this issue. Just like Xi Jinping can be right about a thing or two also. And in political humility, we can look toward other cultures and try to take the best of what they're doing and try to learn from them. And in the West, in recent years, the occult imagery that is cropped up is so bizarre and so overt. Sam Smith dancing around as a devil. All of this kind of imagery. It's much more prominent in the West than it used to be. And we seem to have lost the ability to say no to it. Now we have Baphomet statues inside public spaces, inside government buildings, well, in the name of religious liberty. Now we have satanic clubs in elementary schools. We've reported on it on this show before. Openly, overtly. And why is this happening? Because we in the liberal West have lost the ability to say no. And other nations that many of the liberals would deride as authoritarian, ironic because the liberals are much more authoritarian than anybody else in the country, certainly more so than the conservatives. Some of those other nations that have a deeper political tradition and that look a little deeper than consent as the be-all and end-all moral criterion for public policy, and who recognize that there are other things and other virtues to take into account as well in policy. They just look at that and they say, oh no, you got the satanic singer and he wants to sing by the pyramid? Yeah, no thanks. That's not in line with our values in Egypt. Conservatives, I think, need to learn that lesson. We need to be able to say, no thanks. Religious liberty doesn't give religious liberty, certainly not as the founders and framers understood it, doesn't give you any right to have a Baphomet doll in a public space, doesn't give you a right to practice Satanism, doesn't give you a right to have a satanic club in an elementary school, doesn't give you a right to perform all sorts of other sick, bizarre rituals that are sometimes overtly occult and sometimes are merely implicitly so in the weird ideologies that the libs are forcing everywhere, especially in the month of June. We should just say no to that. And we need to figure out, well, on what grounds can we say no? Liberalism exalts consent and individual autonomy above all else.